Do you have an idea for a show or
You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
Technical difficulties, but we are back for part two. But I'm kind of glad it worked out this way because now we have a whole new segment that we can, it's kind of separate, that we can just share and it doesn't get sort of married into all of the other craziness. But just saying, it's a good thing that we started day drinking early because it has been a technical day. And poor Sue Kostick, she's the host of Hello, Your Health is Calling, and this has happened twice today. So, Sue, it is meant to be to have you on here. And yes, this is part of our mental health awareness. So let's bring Sue and her daughter Grace over. Hi, girls. Hi, ladies.
Hi.
Hi.
You know, we were so good, and I went to commercial break to bring you over. And again, Sue, exactly what happened this morning happened again. But what we're going to do, Sue, is we've got your show from this morning. We're going to re-upload it and play it. And I'm putting it on radio tonight at 7:30.
Oh, great. Awesome. Yeah, no worries.
Well, it's
You
really
gotta be
important.
flexible, right?
We got to be flexible. And we were going to detox since the power went out at 11:11. They decided it was a message that we should be adhering to. But then they started making espresso martinis, and we're like, we'll adhere to it when we finish our martinis.
And somehow a pirate hat happened.
Left out.
And birthday cake. So, you know, we got to do what you got to do.
Wow.
But what you were talking about was so important about what we do to our bodies in our 20s and Thursdays, the 20s and 30s, Thursdays, as Thirsty
Or
Thursdays.
Thursdays.
What we do to our bodies, because we rebound so quickly when we're young, we don't really think about what it does to us. And then we know as we get older, our bodies sort of take the effects of what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, you know, we have this immortality mindset when we're young that we're just going to live forever and the way that we are in our 20s. And, you know, sadly, when my girlfriend and I have a joke that every morning we wake up and it's like, oh, that hurts now. Is that something new?
Right?
So,
Every day it's something else. I know, but I'm glad that Grace is joining us. And you guys did a show together probably about a month ago on mental health awareness and why it's so important to our overall well-being and health. So I want, Grace, tell us a little bit about you. You're now in school. You're in New York?
Not yet. So
Okay.
I move October 15th.
Okay.
But yes, I will be going to school in New York.
It's very exciting.
I'm majoring in musical theater. So I'm very excited. No school, no English or math ever again. So yeah, I'm excited.
Is it all going to be theater-based? You don't have to take any other prereqs or anything?
Well, so first semester I have to take a standard business and history class, but that won't be too bad. It's better than math.
What a magical place to be studying musical theater. I can't think of anything better than to be in New York.
As you sit here with a pirate hat.
I know. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, I am ready if you need me. I am ready to be cast.
Please. I would love to do some scene work.
Yes, and Pirates of the Caribbean, the musical. I am your person.
So give us a little bit of background on why do you think it's so important? Why is this so near and dear to both of your hearts, the mental health awareness component?
You want me to go first, Mom?
go right ahead.
I think for me, just with it myself, and I see how it has affected family members and friends, and when you're going through something like that, it's very hard because a lot of the sometimes you don't get the physical effects where people see what's actually going on, and sometimes it is physical where then they do understand, and it's just such a touchy thing where you don't know how to help someone necessarily unless you're going through it. So I think it's really important to tell people stories so that they don't feel alone, because it can be a really lonely feeling.
Well, and I think too, you know, when we started first going through this journey, mental health was not a thing in our family, you know, and so as the mom, I didn't really understand. And it's not like a virus or something that you have these symptoms that we're used to. There's other things that are going to come out that you have to start taking notice of and paying attention to. So it really has been a learning curve for our family. I'm sorry, is there an echo?
Yeah,
Maybe-
there is.
You guys are probably getting each other's feedback, so just turn your volume down a little bit.
Okay, sorry, I was just like,
Because you're in the
okay.
same house, so you might be
I was
picking up
gonna
each
say,
other's
are you guys in
feedback.
2 separate rooms
Yes.
right beside each other?
We are.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
that's so
cute.
much better.
Okay.
Let me just do a little bit more. So as a family, dealing with mental health issues, it's really important to listen. And as I said before, we hadn't dealt with it before. We didn't really know what was happening. And it took some time. And there was a lot of frustration. There was a lot of tears. There was, you know, a lot of anger. But we started to learn how to deal with it. And I think Grace is such a great self advocate, number one. And that's one of the things that I hope that from her message that people can take, that self advocacy is super important when you're dealing with any kind of illness, but mental illness especially, because like she said before, it's not visible. You know, it's kind of that invisible thing, yet she would have panic attacks that would make her completely numb and frozen, you know, so it's like that is a physical thing that you can see, but when it's building, you don't see that. So, you know, we don't give enough validity to what people go through. And especially since 2020, there's so much more mental illness and it affects your overall health, you know? I mean, Grace, you can talk too to, you know, different things that happen with your health when your mental health is at stake.
And I think it's different when you're younger because you know they're panic attacks and you know it's anxiety. It's when you're like my age and older, and then I call your mom and say, "Oh my gosh, I'm having heart palpitations." And we run through all these tests, and you know, a lot of times people's tests come back normal, but you're still racing, and you realize it's a panic attack. But why? Because
Yeah,
everything looks like it's perfect in your life, but yet inward you don't feel you have a panic attack.
Yeah, I remember, I think it was February, December time of last year. And I remember I would just come to school every day and I would just feel like so lethargic. And I like just didn't know what was happening. I was getting like random pains all over my body. And my friends were telling me, like, Grace, you need to go to the emergency room. And I'm like, no, like, I'm fine. Like, my mom says I'm fine. Like, I just need to get over it. I'm just being anxious. And it just started getting worse and worse. And then one day I like just kept on like staring to focus at something because I felt so dizzy and I felt like I was gonna faint. And they're like, Grace, if you do not go to the hospital, I am taking you to the hospital. And I remember going to the hospital and them taking a blood test, taking a urine test, and they're like, I don't know what to tell you, like everything is fine. And I'm like, okay, but like I'm not fine. Like my body is going completely numb. I'm getting all these random pains. Like that's not something that's fine. Like it doesn't make sense. So definitely when things get worse and when things keep on building, like my mom said, your body doesn't know what to do. It's just so tired. And that's what my body was. It was tired of fighting. And the only thing it knew how to do was make myself relax by making my body go numb and then having all those physical pains.
So what did you suggest? Because as a healthcare practitioner, what advice would you give to Grace or to another client when there are physical manifestations, but there's no diagnosis or treatment?
Right. Yeah, and this is one of the things, you know, when someone is coming to me with blood work that looks normal, and, you know, then we can dive deeper, but when you're talking about mental health, we're talking about the brain. And so it took me a little while to get on board, but we did go to the ER and the doctors told her she was fine, but she really had these symptoms. So, we found a doctor that actually does brain scans. And you look at the brain under stress and you look at the brain at rest, and they can diagnose exactly what's going on. So it's like she's not going crazy. There is something going on. There is an effect in her brain happening. And as, an integrative health practitioner, I always, talk about supplementation and talk about diet. But you also have to take into account that there's an organ that you're looking at as well. And so, just as if someone came back with a thyroid panel that needed attention, we would attack it with natural protocols as well as supplementation and nutrition. And that's the same approach that we take towards mental health too, because we are holistic beings and it is body, mind, and spirit. So, the nice thing about getting brain scans when you are having mental health issues, then you can pinpoint exactly what is going on in your brain at the time of perceived stress or at the time of post-traumatic stress. And then you can, do what's best for that person in those circumstances. And it's the same thing that we do with the lab testing. We take into account exactly what's going on in your body. You can't just guess. It's like I could take an educated guess and we could go by the process of elimination what you need. But why not do the lab work? Why not do the brain scans? Why not find out exactly what's going on so we can figure out what that person needs,
Because
what
I think
their
it's
specific
different.
need is.
There's a whole, and I'm going to ask Grace, there's this fear component when you're having a panic attack of, what if there's really something wrong with me?
Yeah.
What if it's my heart? And the more you think about it, or what if there's
more
something
you
in my
panic.
brain? And the more you think about it, the more you panic. And the more you think, I don't want to go to the doctor because what if they find something? She's shaking her head, yes. Right? And
Yes.
you're young and you're in high school. You're young, right?
Oh, yeah.
So the
did.
panic, I think the younger generation's panic is different than ours, right? It may be hormonal, whatever it is. But post-COVID, you're right. It
Oh, yeah.
changed the mindset. It's changed society's scope on everything, on expectations, on socialization, or being in public. What's next? What's my career? So, Grace, how did it make you feel going through all these tests? And you're like, but it's me. I know I'm going to be okay, or I don't know I'm going to be okay. How have you learned to cope and deal with it?
I mean, it was a very scary time, a very scary and lonely time where I felt so alone. I could be literally surrounded by so many people. I mean, I was doing everything that I would do in my normal day. I was going to school, I was going to dance, I was going to rehearsals for shows, and, just I knew I had friends, but it was so hard because unless they had gone through it, or even there were some people who had gone through it, I just was very angry and scared and would lash out. And yeah, it was just a very scary time. So I think you're 1,000% right. There's this fear of especially when you're young. I'm 18, and so being like, am I gonna make it to graduation? Is like, am I having a heart attack? Like, do I have cancer? Like, your mind just like spirals. And I think also when you're in the actual panic attack, for me, something that would go through my head constantly was, I'm scaring this person, or this person is now never going to want to hang out with me ever again because they see
I
that
go
I'm
through that
literally
a
like
lot.
shutting down. Yeah, like literally just like shutting down, and they don't know what to do. A lot of the times they don't know what to do, and I've had people where I'm having a panic attack and they're just staring at me. in
What do you
fear.
do for immediate relief when that does happen? Because when I went through that, and I was in Trader Joe's a couple weeks ago, and I was looking at like frozen food or something, and I could feel my heart beating really fast. I felt tears springing to my eyes, and I couldn't place it. And I realized I was having an anxiety attack, and if I had any tips that could have helped me breathe through it to get me out of there. I felt like everybody was staring at me. It was awful. So, do you have anything that I could do if that happens to me again?
So it really sucks when you're in a public place. And that tends, I know for me, a lot of the times there could be something that triggers it, and then a lot of the times it just comes out of nowhere. And so for me, so let's say if I was in a grocery store like how you were, I would leave that grocery store because obviously it's loud. There's too many people in there. You need to go into a quiet space. And so I would go into my car. And my sister, she's actually a nurse. And I remember one time I did have a panic attack and I called my sister. And she told me, she was like, put your air on full blast. If you have anything like in your car, like a blanket, like I know for me, I like deep pressure. So if I'm by myself, I have a blanket in my car. So I'll like put that on top of me and I'll like cross my hands so that I'm putting pressure on my chest. Or I think it's called the butterfly tap. You try to do that on a rhythm.
Yes, I've heard of that.
Yeah, so sometimes that helps, sometimes it doesn't. I like to keep my headphones with me, and if I'm able to, I try to distract myself with music and just closing my eyes, or I'll watch a show. But for me, I need either 100% silence or 100% of one sound. And so for me, I know I'm probably not going to get 100% silence, so it's better to have earplugs in. And I mean, also, for me, once we got through the brain scans and everything, and I was telling my psychiatrist that I was getting anxious, the last resort was medication, honestly. So I have these tablets that I take, and if I'm feeling really anxious or overwhelmed, I'll take like about 4 of those. And in about 30 minutes, I'll try to like calm down a little bit. But yeah, everyone's different.
And Sue, how has
They
it
do
changed?
say that if you change your environment, like sometimes if I see her going into some kind of anxiety or panic attack, I'll ask her, I say, do you want ice? Do you want heat? Because like if you shock yourself, we keep ice packs in the fridge so that I can just quickly bring her an ice pack. And if you change your environment quickly, like you were standing in the frozen food section, you probably should have put the frozen food on your face or something.
Nothing used for frozen
But,
food.
Honestly,
yeah, but
I
it's
don't know if it
literally
was-
just,
I think they
Ice
just
on
ran
your
out of my
chest, it
sushi I
shocks-
liked.
Sue, has
Yeah,
it,
if you put ice on your chest, it calms your nervous system because your nervous system is right here. I just saw this the other day ago. I was like, sick. I'm
Very
gonna do
good
that
to
next time.
I think we should find an ice pack sponsor.
Yeah, frozen
Yeah.
peas at Trader Joe's.
Or frozen peas from Trader Joe's. But I'm so glad you're bringing awareness to this,
Yeah.
Grace. And when we're not on air, I want to talk to your mom. Maybe we can incorporate, I know you're going to be in school, but we used to do a mental health segment on our show every Monday until it got really heavy on Mondays. But I think it's really important because even Sundays now are important. People, they get the Sunday scary. So you don't even make it to Monday morning to panic. People are panicking on Sundays.
That is very
which
true.
means now you're
Right.
losing even that 2 days that you have off because you're worrying about Monday. And
Yeah.
you're a different perspective, a different peer group, which I think is always so important to bring that ideas out. COVID really affected all of us and your generation, socialization, texting, acceptance. And people don't realize that these are panic attacks that are going on and what to do and how to work through it. And how lucky are you to have someone like your mom?
I was thinking the same
help
thing.
you,
How
'cause-
fortunate.
and even for you, Sue, it was kind of hard to wrap your head around. And this is what you do.
It is because, for me, mental health is different than physical health. And it's not, though. I mean, it's really all together. But, when it's that close to home and, we went through a pretty severe health diagnosis with her when she was 5. So the last thing you want to think of is that your child is going through another health
Right.
issue. So it was, it was acceptance. It was just kind of, putting on my thinking cap on how can I support her and finding the doctors that do the brain scans. Because honestly, there was one thing we thought for sure was happening. And he's like, no, that's not happening. You can see here where her brain fires differently. And so, they could attach the correct medication. They could attach the right supplements that she needed. So it's just really very important to, peel the onion, get to the bottom, get to the root cause.
Grace, you don't start school till October? Mm-hmm. So that gives us a
Yeah,
good couple months.
they're on different quarter systems, so
So maybe
opted
between
out of
now and
Start
October.
late and end late.
So maybe between now and October, we can at least get a segment going for your generation that's
Yeah,
going
your
back
voice
to
is so
school, right?
important.
Your voice is so important. Your perspective is so important. And then having your mom's perspective, right? Because you had this physical diagnosis as a child. And as a mom, my son had a bad diagnosis, potentially even worse, when he was little. And every time you get that phone call, you think, what's it going to be? And it's frightening. And you almost want to deny it, right? Sue, you want to like put your head in the sand and go, no, it can't be. I don't want to face this again. But
I can't imagine.
But you have to help. I'm sorry, Sally has something to say.
Because, I try to be a very positive person, and again, I'm going to sound a little older, so I know I suffered from this many, many years ago when I was younger. So when I was starting getting, I do, and I think I shared with you, I get this feeling, and I know what's happening, but the most important thing, it happens, I don't know what sets it off, but I know that I get very hot during the process of this. But the fact that I know what's going on helps, because I know that what I actually breathe, try to think of something different and say to myself, this is going to pass, because I recognize the same symptoms. And it does pass, so the more I tell myself that, concentrate on my breathing, I know I'm going to get very warm suddenly, and that happens too. And I say, okay, when this happens, I'm going to be better in a few minutes. And that's helped me a lot, understanding. I haven't gone to anybody for this diagnosis. I know I suffered from depression as a child for many, many years, but I'm still getting some of the symptoms. And I think the fact that as long as you know it's nothing, I mean, I'm not telling people to do that if they actually have something that is physically wrong with them, but if you've had these symptoms, as you have their ongoing, and you know it will pass, tell yourself, this is going to go away in a few minutes or however long it's going to take. That's helped me tremendously.
See how
That
important
helps.
this is? Such an important subject.
It is
really is.
very important.
Wow.
I would love to have had a friend like you, Grace. If I was 18 years old, or when I was starting college, I could have really used a friend like you. And I think a lot of people starting college will really need your help. So just take in as much as you can from you and your mother, and use that to be a good friend in college, because so many people are going to need you, being away from their own mothers, dealing with their own anxieties, and it's hard to be there for someone when you have your own problems. But I can't imagine how life would have been different if I had someone like you starting
Wow.
school.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. All right, we're going to talk after the show and see what we can put together. Grace, if you're up to it, we
Okay,
would love
sounds
to
good.
to reach another audience.
Yeah. Thank you for having us.
Awesome. Have a great day. Thank you for your patience.
you,
I
guys.
appreciate you
Bye.
guys.
Bye.
All right, so we ran a little late due to our technical difficulties, but it was important to get all of these subjects out. Even for me, it's nice. It's not nice to see that she's going through this, but it's nice to know that there's help out there and there's conversations to be had and bringing awareness. Sally, I can't believe after everything you've been through that you still go through that.
I didn't recognize it at first. I thought there was something really wrong with me, but it would go away. And then when it went away, it was coming. When I became aware of it, I was actually noticing it more. Sometimes I thought I was just getting very warm because of the heat outside of here. But I know what it is today, and it's helped me tremendously. I don't share that with many people,
Wow.
as you know.
Such an
but I can
important
get it
topic.
sometimes twice a week. I might not get it for a month. But I know that, and I get it usually sometimes when I start to relax. And that's very strange. I might be going to bed and I lay down, it comes on. So I don't know why or what causes it, but I just know that it will pass.
Such a great, oh wow, what a great young girl.
She's amazing.
She is,
Seriously,
yes,
it's so
amazing.
inspiring.
Yeah,
I really wish I could have had someone like her. And I know so many people that, I think it's a joke sometimes on social media too. People like joke about having anxiety. They're like, oh, I'm so like this and that. And they're not taking it seriously. And then there's people like Grace who actually are advocating.
It's
and
important. And in this generation today with the young people too, they're going through a lot. But it is more recognizable today than when I was a child. They didn't want to know. They just said, well, we don't know what's wrong, and that's it. Or give me a whole lot of medication.
And the large crowds, for me, it happened when I was away on the Space Needle. Oh my gosh.
No,
With 40
it's
people
real.
in an elevator, and it feels real. It hurts.
It's real, and
Yep.
it can cause physical pain too. Yes.
To have your mother support you, though,
Isn't that
through your
amazing?
mental health is very important, too. So I can't imagine coming to all these conclusions that Grace did without having a support system behind her, too. So that's really important.
All right. Thank you all for your patience, to our crew. Amazing. Happy birthday, Michael. What you don't
Happy
see off
birthday,
screen is now we
Michael.
get to celebrate Josh. Josh, can we celebrate you for a minute? He's not coming in. But we have to celebrate Josh because Josh last night finished his master's program, and he is officially a master's degree in, what is it, graphic design? Digital media. So
I
we
would
started
ring
the party because you came late. We started the party before you got here, but we've got more for you. Ring the bell, Sally. So congratulations to you. What an accomplishment.
Yeah, it was all right. Not too
Expensive.
bad. Yeah, that was like the biggest detriment, but not too bad.
But you did it, and I'm so proud of you because you came to us, and the first thing you said, if I had known now, I would have done college differently. And you got the opportunity to go for your master's differently.
And I accomplished it pretty good.
What was your
Did-
GPA?
I don't want to say it.
Yeah, it was like the best GPA you could get is what he
But
had.
yeah.
You
it
bring
was-
for that, too.
Yeah.
I mean, you could teach it.
For the bell?
Yeah.
There you
Oh,
go.
there you go.
But we had to celebrate you
He's
because we're
ringing
so
his own
proud of
bell,
you.
though.
And I have a cake for you in the fridge. We got a lot of cakes.
He's
Damn,
ringing
okay,
his
sweet.
own bell.
I got a cake for Josh. G-Man brought you patties. We saved one for you before Abdullah got to them all.
I was about to say, Abdullah coming back was my biggest present.
Aww.
Yeah.
Well, we've been partying a lot here, Freddie, without you. But Josh's birthday is on Sunday, so we'll celebrate him again on Monday.
Sounds
So
good to
a
me.
lot of good things to celebrate. And thank you so much, Emily, for everything
Thank
you've
you.
done.
I'm so happy to be here. I wish it never had to end.
But it doesn't have to. It's been a jam-packed
Freddie.
week. And Sally, more to come because you've got your show tomorrow.
Yes, we do. I do. We do. Yeah. At 2:30 Friday. The Mind of an Art. I never remember
I don't
the
either.
actual. I
Inside
think it's
the
in the
Mind.
Mind of an Artist.
I don't know. I kind of should rename
I
it.
don't know. It's something like that.
But our crew, you guys have all been amazing. And Josh, I am so, so proud of you and the growth that you have had here and to watch you teach and everything you do and the way you all come together as a family. You don't even have a project for you when we get off air. but things to do. We're going to celebrate you too. G-Man brought a second bottle of bubbles for you. Oh, yeah. All right. Have a great afternoon, everyone. Stay safe, stay dry, and we'll see you. We're here all night. We'll see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. drive time. Bye-bye.
Well, that's about it for today. Even though the show's over, the Brooklyn Cafe is always open for business. You're invited to join the fun every day from 12 to 2. If you missed some of the laughs from today, Dawn and Freddie S. will bring you more good cheer next time. You can follow the Brooklyn Cafe on Facebook at the Brooklyn Cafe TV to rewatch every minute of the show. We'll see you next time.